Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, the Audit Committee. First order of business, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. David Birchfest.
Here.
Mark Finkel.
Here.
Thomas Stover.
Excused.
So, Michael Esteban.
Present.
Albert Hayes.
Here.
Michael Clark.
Here.
Robert Leslie.
Here.
Robert Fulton.
Here.
John Hudson.
Here.
Carol Ray.
Here.
Richard Ferrara. Here. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I know of no reason to adopt the meeting agenda, so we'll go to the approval of the June 12th, 2012 Audit Committee minutes. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
That'd be you. I think
Second.
Thomas is your third member.
Oh,
That was
okay.
who first was Mr. Hayes.
Mr. Hayes.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Committee business, we just have one piece of new business. We have the presentation of the regulating district's independent audit. Mr. Ferrara and guest Randy Shepard.
Yes, I'd like to introduce Randy Shepard. He's a partner with the Bonadio Group, and he will present the completed audit.
Right. Thank you very much. You should have in front of you, I left it on your desk there, two pieces of information. One is a letter and the other one is a bound document. So we'll just go through these very quickly. The first one is the letter, is what's called a recorded communications code. Part of my responsibility is to discharge to you certain information that we did or certain processes that we went through, and this letter kind of does that. So I'll run through this a little quickly for you. I did go through this last year. Not much has changed, but it's important to note. The way the letter is laid out is there's a bold item, which is the required communication item. Underneath that describes what that item represents, and then there's usually an italicized bold response to that. And the first one talks about accounting practices and essentially that the district and its management board determine the accounting policies that are to be followed. And what our response here is that there was nothing new this year that happened in the accounting principles world that would have changed the accounting standards that were happening, and all the transactions that transpired are consistent with what happened in the past. The second paragraph talks about accounting estimates, and that every financial statement has an element of estimation within that. And for you, one of the most significant estimates is described in Note 11, and that's your other post-employment benefit obligation, which is a very significant estimate for you. And what we do is we look at the actual assumptions related to those estimates and make sure that they're fair and reasonable in relation to the organization as a whole. You'll see this more on the financial statements, but that represents about $5.4 million of your liabilities at year end. Almost 38% of your total liabilities are these costs. The next item talks about particularly sensitive disclosures. And really for the district, as you know, there's significant litigation out there, and we do disclose some information about that litigation in footnote 8, and we make sure that those disclosures are neutral and fair. We work with counsel to make sure that those disclosures aren't saying anything they shouldn't say, but they give enough information for you to understand what's going on. Bottom of the page, which is important to note, difficulty with accounting and performing the audit, we did not have any. The audit goes very well. Working with Rick and his staff goes very well, and we get the audit accomplished very quickly. At the top, page 2 refers to some corrected and uncorrected misstatements. We're required as part of the audit to let you know if we have audit adjustments, and whether we have adjustments that we may identify but decide not to move forward. And if you look at the last page, it's really, in my opinion, a non-event. There was one entry we had to book related to rolling forward net assets from last year. It's very small in relation to the grand scheme of things. But it really has an issue. There's the way the accounting software treats something, and we book this entry every year, so it's nothing new. Going back on the letter, disagreements with management. Again, if Rick was not comfortable or didn't agree with how we were going to book something, we were aware of that. We let you know that, but we do book for the board. We don't book for management. And we weren't aware of any disagreements and none occurred. We did get a management representation letter on September 21st, which basically says that we provided everything we needed for the audit. That there was nothing held back, nothing changed from when we started the audit process, and that's the date of our audit report. Management consultations, this is opinion shopping. If we're aware that you didn't like what we were going to say, or what happened in our accounting firm, we need to let you know if that happened. We're not aware that that did. And then other audit findings and issues similar to that, in that if Rick or management at some point said, well, depending on how you may respond to our treatment of this accounting matter, we may hire you to do the work again next year. If we were aware that that was out there, we'd let you know. But throughout the year, they're calling us and asking us questions, and there's an ongoing communication, and that's part of the normal process. And then the other matter just relates to the supplementary information that's attached to the statements, which shows that Blackwood and Hudson were separate. We make sure that those are fair and reasonable when we show the statements. And so what this letter is, in my opinion, is kind of a real quick snapshot before covering all of the things very well. The other document which we'll look at quickly is just a highlight package. Instead of going through the great detail of the statements, this is like a little snapshot for the board. And if you look at the presentation overview inside the cover page, the first bullet point there I think is most important. The audit opinion that we issued is an unqualified audit opinion. That's what you hire us to do. And basically that says that everything that's presented is fair in all material respects for the year ending 2012. A couple of significant items in 2012. I know we're sitting here in December and it's kind of old news at this point, but there was a negative change in assets of about $1.2 million, which we'll see. As you know, you won that motion in the appellate division against the 5 counties. Importantly, there was a whistleblower and code of ethics policy put in place by the board during the year. And then July 2012 through 15 was a 3-year budget cycle, which I know you're well aware of. The future matters, again, which I think are very apparent and the board is well aware of, is what's going on in the apportionment process, and then the fact that without the cash flow that's happening, there's been delays in capital projects through the organization in the past few years. And now, if there's no questions, we'll look at the highlights. And I think this presents a good picture on page 2 of the balance sheet, highlights for the organization. You can see current assets are up to about $15 million. Normally you might think that that's a great thing. In this case, the biggest piece of that is your accounts receivable is up about $5.5 million in the year because of the delay in payments and the assessments. At the same time, your investments are down almost $3 million. You've had regulations to pay certain costs within the organization. And I think the other thing that's telling here, the capital assets, you can see since 2009 there's been a steady decline. And what that indicates to you is that you've had no significant capital additions that I talked about, latest capital expenditures. So as your assets are depreciating, that's what's happening here. They're going down. You're not adding new assets. So that's going to cause you some problems in the future potentially as things wear away or depreciate faster. It can cause you some cash flow concerns. Your liabilities, at the same time, you can see your accounts payable and compensated absences. Was just under $400,000 at the end of 2008. It's almost $8 million at the end of 2012. The biggest piece of that is some of the liabilities and the assessments owed is related to the Attorney General claims, et cetera. And you can see that other post-employment benefit obligation of $5.3 million at the end of 2012. And that will continue to grow until forever, really. And then your other liabilities, what that is you're able to get some upfront payment from one of your customers to help with cash flow needs. So we record that as deferred revenue, and that'll be recognized as revenue throughout the current fiscal year that you're in. Any questions on the balance sheet at all? I don't want to go too fast, but I don't want to go too slow for you to do here. Page 3 is your is the income statement in the for-profit world. The non-profit and government world that has a longer title, statement changes, revenue, and expenses. And you can see your operating revenue is up a little bit at $7.7 million, almost $8 million, compared to operating expenses of $9 million. So there's your operating loss of $1.2 for the year. A couple of important things in there. Expenses are up. You did book a significant bad debt during the year related to some assessments that weren't going to come in, as well as booking the costs associated with the potential settlement that the Attorney General will be helping you with. So those costs are usually declining those expenses since 2008, almost $1.2, $1.3 million since that time. So you can see the impact on your net assets. In '08, your bottom line there, the far right was 8.9 million. At the end of 2012, it's under 5 million, so you can see the impact really that's having on the organization. You know, we have a couple graphs here to close things out. We're just looking at the current ratio on page 4. We're back with almost 6.5 to 1 in 2008, and it's down under 2 at the end of 2012. As the cash and investments are increasing, your liabilities are increasing, that's going to impact that ratio. So once that cash flow struggle turns around, if it will, that'll help that improve that ratio. And you can see here your change in net assets really have been kind of up and down. The desired trend here is obviously up or at least flat. And we know that the 3-year budgeting cycle has an impact in terms of where the change is. You're typically, high one year, down the next year, so it's not atypical for the organization, but really just gives you a picture of that. On page 5, the top graph talks a little bit about the cash flow. For your overall cash flow line being the cash line up above. You did liquidate your investments, as I said, which showed an increase in your cash flow overall, but you use that cash flow for operations. And you can see the impact on your cash flow from operations, a negative 40 for the year. And your revenues by source at the bottom, really to remain relatively consistent as a percent of themselves in total. But obviously the decrease in the assessment, the bigger chunk down below for you. And then lastly, just your cash on hand by area. You can see really the big decline that is not surprised to anyone in this room. And where we are here, the Hudson and the Black River site being under 230,000, Hudson River just under 900,000 for the year. So we all know why and what the situation is here, and hopefully there's things that are happening that help progress the organization moving forward. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to address those now or after the meeting.
Any questions for
I don't have any right now.
anybody? No. Thank you very much for the presentation. Being no further business for the audit committee, motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second? And we're both in favor. So the audit committee stands adjourned.
Right.